The people when they basically broke up the thing.
Were you reading the internet again?
I was reading about whiskey, man.
Yeah.
And so the Scottish, they just took the barrels. They was like, these are better barrels than we got. And even barreling it was an accident. They figured it out, probably hooching. They didn't know because they used to make it fresh, and then they were like, we got to put it somewhere so we don't get caught. And they went back and tried it and go, oh shit.
Well, they had to store it in something, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but they didn't know because we forgot about these barrels. You go back, man, this is way better than what we.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy, man?
It's kind of what we do here.
So you are about to walk us through picking the barrel. Now, people, I think one of the things I've learned about Tim, and we'll definitely let him speak for himself, is that he's super focused on quality, and quality precedes excellence. That's always one of my sayings. So when he's picking these things, he's really thinking about what he's experiencing and what people are going to experience. So I say, hey man, if you were to pick a barrel that you've never had before, walk them through some things that you would choose to do. And, you know, what they'd be tasting, flavors, all that stuff. So he's testing something that, man, it's harsh, but it's got some good flavors.
So this is, I've got a few barrels that I haven't opened before. So like, I don't know if you can see this up here. So that, like that bung has not been opened. Like you can tell it's a similar age to the top of the barrel head. So we've never opened these, and I don't know what they taste like. I don't know anything, and I actually didn't know I had these barrels because how I have everything set up is not ideal. But we're in 1,200 square feet, and that's what I got to work with. So, and I didn't even have the labels facing this way because we put a second row. So I had to take a picture of the label. So this is a 95% wheat whiskey. So and 5% malted barley. So there's no corn, and there's no rye in this. So it's 95% wheat, and it's a 2017 barrel. So it's got a decent amount of age on it. And so we're gonna open it up, and I mean, these wheat barrels, some of these are just so good that you wouldn't think a wheat whiskey is something that you would drink normally. Yeah. Like I actually bought them because on paper I wanted to use extreme, so 95% wheat I was gonna make a wheated bourbon with. So mix it, but then trying some of these, it's like these can be single barrels. So yeah, they're pretty fantastic. So we'll open this up, and then Tony, can you grab either a thief or the cover there? So open that up like this here, and then a couple glasses. So you probably, I don't know if you can see that, but there's some cobwebs in there. So that's another reason you know this stuff's old, that nobody's had this before.
And that thief grabs about how much?
Well, this isn't a thief. I'll have to like really show you what a thief is, because you're 0 for 2.
I'm 0 for 2. Look, I tell them sometimes they 2 for 2. I'm 0 for 2. That's not normal.
Yep.
Look at the glow, man. Every time this stuff comes out, I don't know what goes on, but it's like magic in a barrel, and it comes out, it does something to the cups. Does that happen every time?
Yeah, most of the time. Because I mean, you think about it, if it's in the barrel for 7 years, it's going as it breathes. So temperature change and seasonality and barometric pressure and humidity, all these factors, but the barrels are breathing. So just like any kind of wood, it's going to warp and change. And so the barrels, so as they heat up, the whiskey basically expands, the barrel expands, so the whiskey's going into the wood, and then as they cool down, the whiskey's coming out of the wood, and the inside of the barrel's charred, so it's going in the charred wood, out of the charred wood. So it's going in clear, and then because it's going in and out of the wood, then it gets that color. So if you look at these staves up here, so you can see that. So that's called the red line, and that's how far the whiskey penetrated the stave. So that's about 80% that it went into the white oak. So it's going in quite a bit. So that's where it's getting its color from, is the barrel. If it didn't have the barrel, or if it was just in stainless, obviously it wouldn't age in stainless.
Yeah.
And we'd have no color. It
no
would come
color,
out,
no flavor, no nothing.
Clear.
So one of the first notes he takes, I'm guessing, is proofing it. See where the proof's at.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes it's kind of fun to guess like what the proof is.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then if it drinks lower, so say if I say, man, this drink's like it's 105 proof, and then I look and this one's 118, that's a characteristic of a well-aged whiskey, that it drinks under the proof.
Because the higher the proof, the more alcohol you basically gonna get on your tongue.
Yeah, and you expect to taste that. So if we had younger barrels and you try the younger barrel, you would say, whoa, that's hot, or like, man, that's like lighting me up. And a lot of that is most likely due to the age and not the proof. So
Interesting.
So yeah, this is so I've never had this before. It's 118 proof.
Oh man.
Wheat whiskey. Oh man, that's
We had the same response. You go, oh man.
yeah. So it's I have yet to open one of the barrels and had the barrel be off-putting. There's some that I'm like, hey, this isn't right. Some I'm like, okay, that's single barrel. So if we try this and we're like blown away by it, then I'll mark it, and then it will go in a single barrel program for somebody like, hey, this one's ready.
Man,
So,
and that's for you guys that got your clubs, man. This be one of those ones.
gosh, that is great on the nose.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts first. That's what you call the Kentucky chew.
Wow. It's so soft on the palate.
Well, shit.
It drinks well under 118. Oh man. Holy moly. Isn't that crazy? Wow.
I can smell the wheat through my nose after drinking it.
Dude, the finish is still going on this.
This is one of those places where it's like, if you went to heaven and whiskey was there, this is where you want to be.
Yeah, that's a single barrel. So
And that's how decisive you have to be when you are tinkering around, because you get lost. Like, I could do it. You're like, that's good.
yeah, so and I'm not saying like I have the best palate. I'm not saying I'm liking the best barrels, but I have to narrow it down, and I try a lot of different barrels. So I'm looking for, does it nose well? Yes, it does.
Man.
Is the palate like softer, or does it light you up?
Yeah. Sometimes you get that burn on the sides of your tongue and then burn in but this right
Yeah,
here.
to where it's kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that.
No,
And
there's a
this-
sweetness to it too, and it's not even bourbon.
Yep.
Or it's not, 51% corn.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you would think with no corn in it, it wouldn't be as sweet as it
And
is.
it's so
It is-
subtle.
Yes, it's soft and subtle, but then it's got such a great mouthfeel, such a long finish. Like I can still taste it from the original taste.
That's why I'm not taking another swig. Don't know
Yeah.
why he's talking. I'll drink a little bit more, but you go, this is one of those things where we really want to get into enjoying both the moment, but even more importantly, the process. And I think one of the things he does really well, which is why he has to be decisive, is he's got to deliver a product to, consumers, customers, and all people that are coming in and need notes and direction. And this is
And it's already starting to change on the nose. It's starting to get fruity just by breathing a little bit.
oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, it's getting fruity and creamier just from 30 seconds a minute of opening up. Oh man, this is nice. So
That was a good guess. Look, he's like, I've never opened this, had cobwebs, and boom, magic is hit again.
yep. Yeah, so it's one of those things to where now I'm tagging those barrels, and then I'll tag a couple different barrels, and then so if somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to do a barrel pick, or we got a club coming in, now I know which barrels I think are the best,
Yeah.
and they get to decide, but that's why I give them more than one. So they're the ones choosing.
But nobody's going to come here and go through 140 barrels, so you got to give them perspective.
Some have tried. Many have failed.
Hey, I want to drink everything. Not in this house.
Yeah, I remember when we first opened, a local group called the Locals came in. They did our first barrel pick, and I mean, this was when like we didn't have racking. We didn't have like every barrel's just like laid in here. Like we're climbing over stuff. It was just after we got the delivery, and I mean, I bet we opened 30 barrels for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's when we found the Killer Bee, which was, it nosed and tastes like honey, but it was unfinished, and it was like so sweet and just an anomaly barrel. It's like, man, it was a no-brainer. They wanted that barrel. So yeah, when we're finding stuff, I don't want to grab a barrel that's just like, oh yeah, this is a good whiskey. Yeah, it's good, but then it's forgettable. Like, I want something that has character, that like this, that is memorable, that when people try it, it's like, whoa, I haven't had something like that before. Just like the Killer Bee, like, whoa, I haven't had that. Or the barrel that tastes like orange.
Man, that orange one always gets me every time. You go, how's this possible?
Everybody's talking about that.
Look, I talk about it all. I said, look, he's got a barrel up there.
A rye whiskey, a 7-year rye whiskey that tastes like orange zest. It's like, what? Like, so we try to pick barrels with identity.
Yeah.
And give that to people, because there's some people that just want an easy drinking, like, mellow bourbon, but that's not what we put in the single barrel program, because every barrel has its unique identity, in the ones that have the most character, the most depth, the most like that evolve in the glass, and like most cool features. Those are the ones we want to showcase, because it's reaching 150, 200, sometimes 2,000 people are in the club, and they want something unique, because otherwise they can just go to the store and buy something.
Yeah.
They don't come to me to get something mainstream. They come to me to get something different.
And that's food for thought too, people, because when you think about that bottle you go and get at Total Wine and Specs and wherever else, depending on what part of the world you're in, that's like, hey, that's my brand, that's my thing. Here, you literally get to make your own bottle, man, and you won't forget both the process, the opportunity, and definitely the flavoring.
Yeah, and you can see the legs. I don't know if you can see that, all going down the whole glass.
Yeah, that thing
on how complex that whiskey is.
That is a complex whiskey, man. We're gonna do some more breaking it down. So, guys, if you have a club, you want to come in, you want to customize experience, you want to bottle your own, and you want to give it to somebody you care about. Hey, guys, let's go do this and have some fun. Take it back, package it, give it to a friend or family for the holidays. So many opportunities here. This is whiskey heaven, man. In a barrel. Let's keep it whiskey, man.
We do such small craft stuff.
You're good on camera, so we're going to leverage you while you're here.
He's good too, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, speak up. That being said, we just walked you guys through literally being able to walk in and get a bottle out of a barrel. He tasted something and said, hey, I need 2 bottles. And they're not cheap, but what keeps you coming back to the Whiskey Blendery, man?
Well, I think it's a few things. Tim and the team here, they feel like family. And every time we engage with them, it's not just an interaction of slinging bourbon. It's what bourbon's all about, and that's creating memories and having a great conversation. Understanding the history of these barrels and the things that exist within this institution, the opportunity to taste and sample. It's not about getting your money. It's about getting the right product on each individual that walks in here. And I think that's the beautiful story about bourbon and whiskey. It has a unique profile to everyone who encounters it and experiences it. And I think
so. You came in here and you said, hey, remember that one barrel that tasted like root beer? And I said, no. And you threw out a couple barrel numbers, so then we went and pulled it, and like, man, it's fantastic. And then you're like, I mean, look at the color on that.
That's amazing.
So he's like, yeah, can I get a couple bottles of that? So then Tony's just pulling from the barrel to get him a couple bottles. So they're gonna have 1 of 1 and 2. 1 of 2.
I think we're gonna go 1 of 3, 2 of 3. I think we need a third. So I think he's working on that for us, right?
And what brought you?
You can't have mine, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you can't have mine. But it's all about telling a story. Like, I'm not a big bourbon guy, but I walked in here, you get the experience. I decided to buy a bottle because now when I go and see my friends or family, I can tell the story and tell about your experience.
You want something unique too, to where it's not the same experience if you just like grab something off the shelf that anybody can get. But it's like, yeah, let me tell you, man, I was picking up another bottle and my buddy brought me in and we tried something straight from the barrel, and it was outstanding barrel, and they bottled us 2 or 3 bottles right there, and this is what it is.
Exactly.
You want to try it.
And now I'm a fan.
Absolutely.
And now I'll tell the story.
And it gets even better when you share that bottle, the reaction of those people, because these guys experienced that too, because we did the same thing with them, and the more they share it with people, they're like, oh my gosh, where did you get this? We got to go there, because that's some special stuff.
Yeah.
So
and I think what people forget is, like, Tim, today there's 80 barrels in this warehouse. Next month there will be 80 barrels in this warehouse. Next year there will always be more bourbon. It's the memories that you make with it.
Yep.
I think that's what keeps people coming back and always wanting more.
That's great, man. Absolutely.
Well,
That's
we
great.
appreciate that candor, man.
Yeah.
This guy must be in politics.
Dude, I'm about to give him a Blendery shirt. He sounds great.
I was gonna tell
This guy's been trying to get me into
Hey,
whiskey
and-
and freaking.
And he's a great family man and a great believer, so he's what whiskey's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
absolutely.
got
Love
some
it. Amen to
good
that.
energy, that's for sure. I was like, oh man, isn't Moses? And turn the camera on. Get out of here.
Trifecta. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, when something hits the nose, it hits the palate, and it hits the finish. It's a trifecta. Man.
And all three of us.
And by the way, the double Jeopardy was amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that
yeah.
also, so it was
Yeah.
killer, man.
So that one was in the running for the Double
Yeah.
Jeopardy. Had I tried that barrel now,
There you go.
yeah, that might take the win.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, shoot, we got to check the proof. So
Oh yeah, we gotta prove it.
Yeah.
we're so excited about the whiskey,
I know, we're like-
forgetting what to do here.
We got all
Like,
this other stuff we're supposed to do,
yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
We did pick it in a storm. It could be the perfect storm.
Oh, the perfect storm. So yeah, 116.7.
You know how high of a proof that is to be that smooth is ridiculous.
116.
I mean, that thing drinks like 107, if not
Yeah,
less.
yeah, I was gonna say 105-ish.
Yeah,
116.7, man. That's a good bottle.
I know.
All right.
And historically, we had time we could dip these in wax, which would be cool to dip the tip, but then you got to cut them. And
Get one more.
and I dipped the tip this morning. So.
I thought we had counted 3 already. Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Here we go.
Oh, love it.